Hello everyone, I'm your host Hummus28 and welcome back to FTB Skies 2 Aero. Now, as we left off last episode, I did go ahead and unlock some other remaining gears. So you can see we have silver, osmium, and oh, here's the other ones. Lead, that one is old, quartz, ancient debris, and aluminum. They actually weren't that difficult to get, honestly. I thought they were going to be more difficult, which is why I didn't, well, no. I thought they were going to be more difficult, but they were actually quite easy, which is why I didn't record them. But it all boils down to having a bucket of molten ender in the ground. Like, that's literally all you have to do, because for osmium, in order to make the budding osmium geode, you just throw silver, primordial assembly, and obsidian dust into the pool to make it. And then to get a block of silver, all you have to do is get a block of aluminum and have it get eaten by the blaze bloom goo to turn it into silver. But then to get aluminum, all you have to do is throw a block of iron with 2 cognitive flux into the molten ender to make the aluminum. So it's actually really easy, like there wasn't much to do. The only thing I had to go out of my way to build was a very simple mob farm using some dreadful dirt because I needed to store some experience in this obelisk here in order to do a cognition craft, which if we come up here, is this guy over here, the molecular metamorpher. It takes your player experience and uses it to do crafts, and the only thing I needed to craft from this was the primordial assembly, which takes these items in 15 levels, which was pretty simple to do. It took like 5 minutes to like get the rest of the gears. And then I did go ahead and upgrade our setup, so if we come down here, we have a fully automated blasting setup. I gotta say, I really love this item from Create Connected, the fan blasting catalyst, because it essentially just lets you store lava in a block so you don't have to like manage where the lava is going to be flowing. It just works. And it comes all the way down to this diamond barrel over here where we store all the items. Now, filtering this was a little annoying. At first I filtered it so it would not accept any gears. So once they smelted and turned it into something else, it would go in the barrel. But ancient debris geode doesn't smelt into ancient scrap. You have to actually process it either into ancient debris like that, or just melt it into molten netherite. You want to keep it as a debris shard, whereas all the rest of it does manage to like work pretty well, except for coal, because I kind of filtered it just to let coal in, but since it's also named coal, it also goes in. And why do I hear an enderman? Ah, there he is. Taking care of that. Let's see. And then the only thing automation I did for the mob farm here is we have a spruce barrel. It holds items. And then if you come out to the bottom underneath, I hate how loud endermen are. There's just a trash can with a smart chute. The smart chute just says, if the item doesn't stack, send it into the trash can. That way I don't like hold any, what's the word, like mob loot, like armor and stuff. I don't really need it. You could, in theory, set up some more automation to run it through the apotheosis mod, so you could break down enchanted loot into the ores and stuff. I believe that is possible. I just didn't do it, mostly because I don't think apotheosis is going to be too important for the rest of the pack. I don't think we have to go fighting anything. Like, that's more so just like the adventuring part of the mod pack. I'm mostly focused on the tech part. Now, coming back up here, I did move our replication assembly system to this side, added some more replicators, added some more matter tanks so we can store all the matter. But I think today we're going to fully set up AE2 to make everything else go much smoother. Now, first things first, we are going to need some way to transmit power. So we're going to need a couple of these basic universal cables from Mechanism. I gotta say, they're my favorite type of cables. I think Ender IO does work better in some cases, but overall, Mechanism just does it very well. And we're also going to need an energy acceptor. Energy acceptor? Where's the energy acceptor? Is it this one? I thought it looks different. I guess I could double check that. Energy acceptor converts energy. Perfect. Which will take a little bit of quartz glass, which is going to take Certus quartz dust, which will take throwing it in an inscriber, or you can mill it. There's a lot of different ways to make it. But I think sag mill. How expensive is this? Not that expensive. Yeah, I think I'll make a sag mill because they're actually pretty easy and we already have most of the materials. And I'm guessing I just need some more of these guys in order to make one more. Now if we come out over here and throw down our sag mill and connect this to some power, let me move this torch. And throw in one of these. get some power. Now we do have to feed this with a bunch of coal to generate the power, but the simple coal generator should work well enough for right now, as once we set up the AE2 system, it should run for quite a while. Now then, we should be able to just throw this in here and start producing our dust. So now that we have a little bit of Certus quartz, we can go ahead and make the energy acceptor by first... Oh, let me open my backpack. There we go. Now we can craft from in here. Make some quartz glass. Make one energy acceptor. Now we can throw this guy right here. And now our AE system can have power. Now, I do believe channels are enabled, so eventually we are going to need some smart cables in order to manage, you know, the channels themselves. But those are pretty expensive, so for now we're just going to do with, you know, the very simple Fluix ME glass cables. Let's see, we're going to need quartz just to get started. Now luckily, pretty much everything you need for AE2 can be obtained just by looting all of those like futuristic looking spaceships. So it's really not too difficult to actually get everything. Usually it takes a lot more work. And we shouldn't need too many, mostly because it transforms into 4 times as much. So now we can do this. And for the just main like system, just having a bunch of Fluix ME glass will work just fine. And now we can add some of this. So you really only need 1 cell workbench, but you can craft them into other stuff later on. Oh, but that doesn't connect from right there. That's annoying. It's annoying how some of them only connect. Wait, why don't you? Oh, because this one doesn't actually have to connect. That's why. Yeah, the cell workbench is just for like doing stuff with the cells. It doesn't actually have to be connected to the network. Now the ME chest can be connected to the network. It does take energy, and this just stores like 1 ME drive, so you can just throw stuff into it like a chest. I don't really use these too much. I always just use the disk drive. Now we are going to throw in 1 crystal resonance generator. Right here. This is the same item that we have down there, as you can see. The only thing about these guys is I believe the guidebook does let you know that you can only have 1 in each network. Yeah, you can only have 1 in each network. Now it does generate 20 AE per tick, which is pretty solid early game generation. Obviously, as your AE system grows, you're going to need a lot more, you know, robust power for it to actually work. But in the early game, this is really good just for like getting it started. But you can only ever have 1. The reason these all work is they're not connected to anything else. They're just powering a single block, so they're going to work. If you were to run a cable between all of those to try to connect all 5 of them, then they would stop working. So it's better just to keep them separated. Now this mod pack does include an add-on called Lightning Technology. I have no idea how that works, so I'm going to try and figure that out later. But for now, what we need is to just go down this left path here to get all of the main items we're going to need. The controller, the digital storage drive, our crafting terminal, you know, all the important stuff. This stuff is useful. In fact, if I just hold some Fluix crystals in my hand, we can actually get that quest done. See if we can get some rewards here. A basic card. Okay, that's pretty useless to us right now. Some more Certus. That's nice to have. They give you a free energy cell. That's very useful. Now we don't have to craft it. A 1K ME storage component, and they give us 2 annihilation planes with Fortune 2. Interesting. So those are going to be very useful for automation. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could use AE2 to automate the Geors, which I think I'll do later on, but I'm not quite sure. It works for now, but you can see there is quite a lot of lag. I added more amethyst golems, but they're not the fastest. AE2 can mine them instantly as soon as they're fully grown. Now, to put in the power, you go ahead and just add this energy cell, and it's fully charged. 200,000 AE in a flash. Now, we're going to have to start with our printed circuits, which is going to come from the inscriber. Luckily, as you can see here, they are rewarding us with 4 inscribers, which makes it a lot easier to do. Do I have enough resources? I don't have the cobblestone or the redstone. See, this is why you want unified storage, so you don't have to keep, like, running to all your chests back and forth. Makes it so much easier. Because now we could just make 2 pistons and make 1 inscriber and then get... Oh, it wants us to make these all first and then I get more. So for now we're just going to go ahead and throw 1 inscriber right here, and we're going to make 1 of each circuit so we can get the other 4. Usually you want to have 5 because you want 1 to make engineering, another one to make, oh, what is this? Accumulation. Well, actually, is that one? Yeah, it's from Mega Cells. Usually in base AE2, you want 5. That way you can have one dedicated to each craft. But obviously with add-ons, there's a lot more stuff you can be making. So it kind of changes it a little bit. But overall, it is similar. A lot of the add-on ones, you're not going to be crafting as often as the basic ones. So you don't have to worry about it too much. And then later on, you can make more advanced versions using the add-ons, which is going to save you a lot of time anyway. So Certus is used to make the calculation. Then for engineering, I believe that's diamond. And last but not least, logic is gold. So now that we have these, we finish the quest, and we get another 4 inscribers. And some acceleration cards. Acceleration cards are nice. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I believe they pass power through each other. We can actually check this if I throw in engineering and diamond. Yeah, it does. So the inscribers, and I believe all AE2 machines, do pass power through each other. The only issue is without a controller, I think the max is still 8 they can support. And if you try to do more, it just stops working. But I could be wrong about that, I'm not quite sure. So now we can throw in my calculation press in there, throw in some more Certus. This one can take the silicon press, and for the silicon press we are going to need some silicon, which can be made by smelting Certus or nether quartz in a furnace. So I'm going to get a bunch of nether quartz to make some silicon, so we can get all 4. Now the next one lets you know, get your printed silicon, which is right here. And you get rewarded with more stuff. Notably, the components needed to actually complete the processors. So you can see there's 3 main processors from AE2. You can ignore all the add-ons for now. So now to make these, you have to take your inscriber and then throw in the circuit, silicon, and redstone. So if we come to this one here, and also we're going to throw in the acceleration cards. Do note, acceleration cards, while increasing the speed, increase the energy cost. So now we can throw in our printed silicon on the bottom, redstone dust, and engineering circuits to very quickly craft processors, just like that. And we get more acceleration cards. Nice. Just 1 though. Kind of boring, but I will take it. Let's see. Without a controller, I can't actually view the energy spend, but it looks like this guy does keep up with our energy production regardless. And okay, here's the main thing I was looking for. So it looks like they set the default to 4x to make it easier for new players. Okay, that's pretty good. So we can have 32 channels per network before you have to add more channels, which is pretty good. That means we can connect 32 items without needing a controller. Because by default, by vanilla standards, I believe it's 8, right? Because 8 times 4 is 32. So that makes the early game go a lot smoother. We don't need to rush a controller as fast, but as you can see here, the controller is pretty easy to craft. And I should have some skystone available to us, which we do. So we can go ahead and make it our first controller, which we will add right, let's see, where's my cables? We'll add it upwards into the sky, because I'm using the elevator, I could just go up and we can do the auto-crafting on like the upper level, like so. Just trying to place this, there we go. Boom, ME controller. And now when you right click it, you can see everything stored together. You can see the network details, 1 channel, all that stuff. And you can view all the data around it, so you can see we're using about 80 AE per tick, we're generating about the same, and passively draining 0.12 AE per tick. Usually this stuff doesn't matter too much, because your energy usage should always match the energy generation, assuming your power is coming from outside of AE2, but regardless it works pretty well. And we get a calculation processor. Not bad, not bad. So now you can see here, a single controller will provide 128 channels per face. And a cube has 6 faces. At 128 times 6, that's like over 800 channels, which is more than you'll ever possibly need. Most likely. You really shouldn't need more than 800. Actually, even without subnetting, I think more than 800 is enough to accomplish everything in this mod pack. But now it's time for the start of digital storage. We already got a free 1K ME storage drive, so we should just need to craft this guy, which we're missing an engineering processor. So let me throw in, where's my calculation, where's the diamond ones? Ah, over here. Throw those in there to make that. And now we can make 1 ME drive and plug you in right here. Quest completed cell workbench. And now if we take this ME storage component, we just have to combine it with an ME cell housing, which we should be able to craft. ME cell housing is going to take a little bit of quartz glass. Now we could do this and make this guy. Oh, I need the redstone. Let me take a little bit of there. Click U, and now we can make a 1K ME cell storage. And slot that inside. So now the network has that much storage. It's kind of hard to say how much storage overall, because the way AE2 storage works, as you can see there's two numbers here, bytes and types. You can store 63 different items, but all of them share 1024 bytes. So you can either have one item stored 1024 times, or 63 items stored like 50 times. But it's really easy to upgrade these to the higher tiers to the point you don't even have to worry about it. And we have add-ons such as, I believe it's called Mega Cells. That's the one I saw earlier. Yeah, Mega Cells. These ones go up to, as you can see, 1,000,000 bytes. So you really don't have to worry. Even in base AE2, that's never really been an issue because you can go all the way up to like 256 in vanilla. So it's really never a problem. Now we can go ahead and claim our money and claim stuff from the cell workbench. Equal distribution and overflow destruction cards. Interesting. Let me show you what those mean, just in case you didn't know. So if you come to your cell workbench and you throw in your cell, which is over here, this lets you configure the cell. As you can see, it gives you 4 slots for compatible upgrades. And these are what these are for. So if you put in the equal distribution card and the overflow destruction card, they all do different things. If you want to know in depth what they do, you can always hold G to open the in-game guide. But at a very base level, the overflow destruction card says, if you try to put more items than I can allow, I'll just destroy the rest. And the equal distribution card says, I will evenly distribute everything in here based on what you filter. So if you put in a diamond here and a gold ingot and just left those 2 items, this item storage cell will only ever hold diamond and gold, and it's going to split it evenly between both. So it'll only ever hold half diamond, half gold, and if it exceeds that amount, it's just going to destroy it. Now in this case, we're not going to do that for these. It does have uses, but generally, I don't really take the time to filter a lot of my stuff, except in cases where later on, when we have really big, you know, resource production, it can be handy to split out and evenly distribute stuff. That way you don't overproduce one item, and you can keep everything stocked evenly. And now that we have all that set up, we actually need to view into the system. So we're going to make an AE crafting terminal, which will start with a crafting table. We're also going to need an ME terminal, which is always annoying to craft, as it always takes, you know, extra stuff. Fluix dust. We could just make Fluix dust in this guy, right? Because if I just take this, put that in there, yeah, it'll start breaking it down. Now, a lot of this stuff is gated by the nether, so you really can't start it until you're at that point. We're going to need a little bit more of this. So I'll probably need to make some more Certus dust. Illuminated panel. Make 3 illuminated panels, and now we can turn that into an ME terminal. And then turn the ME terminal into an ME crafting terminal. Then you could go ahead and throw this right here. And now we can view into the system. Why is this so short? Medium. There we go. I like it taller. I like to be able to see more in here. What is this? AE2 helpers. Auto moves items that are auto-crafted via the recipe viewer to the crafting grid. Interesting. Never seen that before. But now, we can just throw stuff inside. So you can see we threw in 2 items. If we come in here, 2 of 63 types, 24 bytes used. Just like that. Now we go ahead and claim this one, and it gives you a storage bus, which is nice, because now, instead of running all the way downstairs, we can connect it to the AE system. Now, there should be, if I type wireless overload controller, wireless receiver, I believe there is an item, I think it's this one. Is it that one? Wireless, ME wireless connector? Can connect 2 networks like the ME network, but is limited in range, cannot connect across dimensions, only 1-to-1. I think it is this one. Now we can't craft it yet, it comes later, but essentially this just saves you on cables. So instead of running a cable from here all the way down there, you just throw in the wireless connector and they'll connect at range. It is a little expensive though. as it takes a thick smart cable, 3 wireless boosters, a wireless receiver, and a machine frame in the crystal assembler, which will take intro, and that's going to come a little bit later. We're going to need to set up our autocrafting first. And now we get to the real meat of AE2, autocrafting. So it all starts with some autocrafting units, which we can craft just like that. 1 crafting unit. And what is the reward for making that? Another acceleration card. Wait, oh, we got 4 this time actually. That's actually very nice. I'm going to store those for later. And let's see, that's calculation. I want more engineering. And now using the crafting units, we're going to make a crafting CPU multi-block, which is any system. It's really easy. Let's see. Yeah, this is easy enough to craft. Make this one. Usually I kind of just skip the 1Ks, but they do have uses. It's nice to have crafting storage of different sizes until you have a ton of resources, because then you could just make a ton of really big ones. But because of add-ons, you don't even need to do that, because eventually you're going to go up to the quantum computer structure, which is just a crafting computer that's 1,000 times better. Then we're also, let's see, also wants us to make a crafting coprocessor. You don't really need them, but they are nice to have. Make this guy, and make this. And now, let's see, I'm going to need an elevator to go up, and then we can add them upstairs. But for now, I'm just going to extend this one outwards so we can have a little bit of auto-crafting available. So you just add this guy here, add you, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So now if we had any patterns, we'd be able to auto-craft. So let's claim these rewards. Annihilation core, nice. 16K and a crafting storage, super nice. So now we could just go ahead and add this guy here. I gotta love free storage. But now to actually make use of them, we need to make the patterns using the ME pattern encoding terminal. I'm gonna start with another ME terminal. Then I believe you have to upgrade that into the crafting terminal. ME crafting, we'll take another workbench, and ME terminal. What? Am I missing something? ME crafting, oh, it needs a processor. Let's make that. And now we have our ME pattern encoding terminal, which looks a little bit different. You can see the crafting has an X, the encoding terminal has a donut to match this. And now for these, you're also going to need a bunch of blank patterns. Blank patterns. Just like that. Oh, that's encoding. That's not what I want. I want to craft these. We can make 2, because it looks like we're low on Certus. Slot those in there. And now you can set up autocrafts. So, like something like quartz glass is pretty important to have. So let's do that. Quartz glass. Quartz. Encode the pattern. Click this. And you're done. So you can see we have the pattern encoded. It's going to take 5 Certus quartz, 4 glass, and make 4 quartz glass. But we can't actually do anything with this right now because we lack a place to do the crafting. Which leads into the next part, storing patterns, which will take the ME pattern provider. So let's see, we should be able to craft one of these. We'll just need some crafting tables. And craft you. Bam! Now if you've been looting those airships, you probably found a couple of molecular assemblers. These are the heart of your autocrafting. There's a lot of hearts in AE2. It's like a very horrible looking chimera of a thing. So now if we come out over here, we could just throw this guy right there. Add you and add you. And you can see they're working because they have this nice like fluorescent pattern. Now when you right click this guy, you can put the pattern inside. And that makes the pattern available to your AE system, so if you wanted to craft quartz glass, it would tell you, hey, I'm missing these materials, I can't craft it. But that's fine, because that'll all be fixed later on. But that's how it works. Now let's see if this guy includes another advanced card. Cool. Let's see, does it say it here? Interesting. They don't have it here. What I'm talking about is the pattern terminal, I believe it's called. Oh, that's not how you spell it. Terminal. This one. Extended, we can just use the regular one. Encoding. There we go. The ME pattern access terminal. This one's very handy because you don't always want to be walking back and forth just to place stuff. You want to be able to do it much faster. So if we craft one of these, which will take another pattern terminal, which will take another set of crafting tables. And make this. and place this guy right here. This lets you see all of your pattern terminal. No, that's not the word. This lets you see into all of the pattern providers at range that are connected to the network. Now, it's not going to see into sub-networks, so you would still have to like do stuff manually there, but it does save you a lot of time, because now instead of having to walk over here, and when you build a big block having to right-click each one, you just come to this device and slot them in. It makes it very simple. Now, I'm going to set up a very basic automation right here, which should run for quite a while, so I'll just add it to the back here. Terminal, charger. And the neat thing about the charger is I think it does auto output. So all you have to do here is if we come to our pattern encoding terminal and do a processing pattern, and yeah, we got more blink patterns from the quest. What I want to make is charged Certus. And if we do a charger, you can see one regular into one charged, like that. And if we plug this guy in here, and then put some Certus inside, and tell it to craft one, it pops it into the machine, and then it should pop out once it's done. But it's not. Which means, why is there a wandering trader here? So to fix it, we just need one import storage bus. So now, all we're going to do is put a quartz fiber right here. Quartz fiber passes power, but not the channel, which doesn't matter too much because we have a lot of channels. But now if we do this, you can see it's connected. We're going to throw a storage bus on the top. The storage bus basically tells the network, the thing I'm attached to can hold items, so if you have an item, push it in there. The import bus, when placed right there, doesn't do anything, in this case, because I didn't filter it, but it did pull it. So what we'd want to do is actually just set this to charged Certus, and it would work. So now when regular Certus goes inside, it's going to stay inside until it converts to charged. And then it will see the storage bus and then push the charged Certus back into the pattern provider. And that means you now have charged Certus on demand. It's very slow to do it this way with a charger. Luckily, there are ways to do it much faster. The main one being the reaction chamber from Advanced AE. I really love the reaction chamber. It's a great device for speeding up automation that is generally pretty slow in base AE. It just costs a metric ton of energy. To convert 64 Certus into charged Certus takes 1,300,000 FE and a little bit of water, 1 bucket. But it's extremely fast. Whereas if you wanted to do a stack of Certus from the charger, it would probably take like a couple minutes. But now for the most part, that's everything from vanilla AE2. We're missing a couple stuff here. As you can see here, there's one for the matter condenser to make singularities, but those can come later on. But then it does lead to the reaction chamber and applied flux. It's interesting. I don't quite understand why you'd want to store FE in the network when... Okay, let me say that again. I understand why you would want to store FE, which is energy, in your AE network, because then you can move energy across dimensions. But this pack has power, which I believe works a lot better for that use case, because it already has interdimensional energy transportation. Now then, to get started with extended AE, it all starts with the Entro Seed, which is a little annoying because you need Ender Dust, which comes from Ender Pearls, which I don't think we have too many of. Even with this, we're going to need an automated way to get more Ender Pearls. We'll only check this real quick. We have 2. Just 2, that's it. Not a lot of Enderman, but I think I have a little bit of Ender Pearl stuff in here. So we can make 18. Perfect. Wait a minute. 18? Don't these usually only stack to 16? That's very strange. And I should have an empty one of these. I'll just empty you for now. Can I not inscribe these into dust? What? Okay, we can use the sag mill. So it's a good thing I set this up. Sag mill. In order to turn it into our dust, because you're going to need an Entro Seed, Skystone Dust, Redstone, Glowstone, and Sand. And depending on what you found, I found that the AE ships have Skystone Block, which does not convert into Skystone Dust. So you actually have to break this into Skystone, and then break that back into dust. Now I do like that they did add a crushing spell to Ars Nouveau, which makes it pretty handy. because I don't have a crushing machine, but I think you can actually throw this into... No, you can't throw this into a sag mill. So if you want to convert skystone block back into skystone, you either have to use the spell, a mechanism crusher, or the mechanism enrichment chamber. Wait a minute. No, you can only do it in the mechanism crusher or the spell. There's no other way to convert it back. I had to craft some sand. I can't believe I forgot about that, but now we can go ahead and make our intro seed. Get 2 of them. And now, all you have to do is combine this with a block of fluix. And let's see, do I have any ways to speed this up? I do not, but I do have this guy over here. So, and let's see. You also gotta be, what's the word? I forget the word I'm looking for. Cognizant of how it grows. So if you remember, it's gonna try and grow from all sides. You do not want it to grow from all sides. So let me block this. You don't want it to grow from all sides for a very specific reason. That reason is, every time you mine from the buddy fulling introized fluix, it downgrades. You do not want it to downgrade before it grows a fully sized bud. And at full size it says intro cluster, and when you mine this, it gets taken into my system, where it's going to get destroyed. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I forgot about that. Oh, phew. Okay, it just goes inside. Perfect. Intro crystal. And we get an energy cell. Nice. And here's the exact mechanic. So it even says, theoretically, you can only get 10 intro crystals from a fully entroized fluix without the fortune enchantment. It will always drop 1 intro dust when broken, regardless of the state, and it will always convert back into a block of Certus quartz, which is something you don't want. Now, luckily, you can use a crystal fixer to turn the hardly entroized into the half entroized, and then turn the half entroized into the mostly entroized, and then the mostly entroized into the fully entroized, but then after that, there's nothing you can do. Now, there is the echoing budding entro that uses time fluid and forge energy from Just Dynathings. I never build this one because I don't like time fluid and automating it, but that is a possibility you can do. And then once you have a good amount of crystals, we just gotta go ahead and throw this into an inscriber, I believe, to turn it into dust. Yep. Because the crystal itself does not have much uses. Now, there's no way to get more than 1 by the look of it. Yeah, there's no, like, duplication, so it's simply 1-to-1. But then once you have your intro dust, we're gonna be making the crystal assembler from Extended AE2, which will take a machine frame, which I've never actually built this before. Oh, wait. I need intro infused ingots, and to make these, you have to infuse intro dust, gold, and lapis in water. And it's as easy as it sounds, but before you do this, make sure you disable your magnet. Yeah, it's disabled. So now we throw this into the water, and it makes our intro ingots. This is where making the in-world transformation comes in handy, but we're gonna make a machine that does it anyway, which is why I'm not, bothering setting that up yet. So now we have 1 extended machine frame, and now we just need another ME crafting terminal. Now we can make 1 crystal assembler. And this guy is quite handy. As you can see here, uses energy to do a lot of crafts that you normally have to do out in the world. So now instead of throwing it in water, you could just provide water to the machine and it'll make it for you, which is very handy. Now I also believe it actually auto outputs as well. So I'll just throw this guy right here. He does eat a lot of energy too, so you gotta worry about that. But it's very handy. It can also be used to craft 4 processors at once. And we get another energy cell. Nice. Haven't had to craft any of these yet, which is very handy. Let's see, we're still doing good. Yeah, I can see now the energy from the generator is getting stored in the system. Then later on I can break these to make the big one. And what's really nice about the extended AE machines is you can set them to auto export through any side, which makes automating them very easy. And now with the crystal assembler, we can build possibly my favorite item, the crystal fixer. Not only is it good for intro, but it lets you make, not flawed, where is it? Not flawless. No, it is flawless, right? Yeah, I believe it's the flawless one. It lets you make flawless budding Certus quartz. These ones never break. so you never have to replace it, which makes automation amazing. You can also use the goo from just dire things, but you're going to have to get some skulk stuff to get like the shadow pulse or the void shimmer goo. It's a lot easier just to go through the AE method. And you can see it here. So it stopped at a large entro bud, which should still give you a little shard. But now it's a block of Certus quartz, which is useless. But now we can just do this, add another entro seed, and restart the process. Here's a good tip when you're setting up patterns. So to make an 1K ME storage component, it can be made from either Certus or charged. It's much easier to get regular Certus over charged. So always just double check this, because I wanted to make a 16K crafting storage, and it wanted to craft 36 charged when I already have the regular. I don't need to take the time to make it into charged, just to use it in something that can use regular. So now that we have this 16K ME storage, I wanted to make this guy, which, I need a little bit more glass. Where's my glass? Vibrant, regular quartz. Where's my sand? There's my sand. I'll make some glass. Now we can make this, and I like that. They have a little spinning animation, and then it puts it in here. So now we have an ME infinity water cell, which does what it says. It's infinite water. There's also an infinity cobblestone cell, I believe. Let's see. Cobbled deep slate and cobblestone, which is made the same way, just takes a bucket of lava instead of water to provide infinite cobblestone. It's very nice for applications that need water to craft, because then you don't have to import water into the system. You could just have infinite water, which is going to be useful for the crystal assembler. Because there's something I wanted to... Oh, right, the crystal fixer. That's what I wanted. Because we have this stuff now. So if we come to our pattern encoding terminal, and actually we need a pattern provider. Pattern. And it's so funny. There's so many different patterns in here, which will take one of these. So now if you take your ME pattern provider and I throw it on the top here, now we can go into our coding terminal, and if I want to take the entro dust and then go into the crystal assembler and I want to make this, how do I let it know it needs water? Because this needs water as well. Let's see. Oh, I think I need the advanced one, or actually, can I just do this? Okay, I figured it out. If you use a water bucket, you can set a amount of water inside. So I can set it to 0.1 water, and since we have water in the system, it will work. So let me put that back in there. And now if we throw in this stuff in the crystal assembler, why are you not crafting my item? Crystal fixer, crystal fixer. Oh, because it's in a, I can't talk. It's a machine frame, not that stuff. This guy into the frame. Could probably craft in my backpack. Machine frame. And now if I throw that in there, it gets to work to make the crystal fixer. And now I can make the fully operational, I already forget the name, Certus. And we'll throw this guy right here. And you can tell pretty much anything from extended AE has like this nice green compared to the purple from base AE. But now it's done. It doesn't store energy though, which is weird. And we get another advanced card. I gotta say, these rewards have been terrible. It's mostly been advanced cards. If these were all acceleration cards, that'd be nice. Or like more batteries and stuff. But it is free, so I really can't complain. But for now, we're gonna stop here, mostly because these last main three, the assembler matrix, quantum autocrafting, and the quantum computer, take a lot of resources, which we currently don't have. It's mostly ender pearls, which we're gonna have to automate via, what is it? What is that one called? I have the thing in my inventory. This one. Hostile neural networks. We're going to need a better way to get ender pearls, which means we're going to need hostile neural networks, which is going to take more power, which means we need more resources. But for now, this is pretty good because I can start setting up the auto crafting for all of the important stuff, which will make crafting everything go much easier. I could connect this to the drawer downstairs so we have access to all the ingots, and I can put in some bigger storage items so we can access everything from a single storage. But for now, this episode has gone on. Not too long, but I think it covered everything I wanted to cover in basic and advanced AE. I'm really looking forward to checking out the stuff in lightning tech because it just looks interesting, and I like how they went with the pink aesthetic compared to the green and the purple. But that's going to come a lot later, and since I've never played with lightning tech, it's also a learning curve for me. But regardless, I'm your host, Hamas28, and I'll see you all next time.